Hello, everyone. Model Man Frank here. Just a short live session today about what's going on in the shop. I hope everybody could hear me. Yep. So I've been working a little bit on the Storch and on the Puss Moth, and kind of like putting a little bit of everything back together. The Storch has been coming along very well. I was able to find some servos that were in it before, and these are Emax servos that I was using that were in the aircraft before. I had taken them out so I could so I could repair them. If you ever want to find these are metal geared servos. They're analog, digital. They're very good little servos, especially if you want something that's going to be a little bit more reliable. A pack of these cost, there's four of them, cost about $40, so they're $10 each. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Banggood. Um, Probably get some more of these when I get a chance. Um, One thing I really need to get right now is for my glider is a 10x6 blade prop, so it'll work a little bit better. I have a feeling that when I use the bladed prop that's on there, which is a 9.5, actually a 9.6, it's too small for that glider to be able to gain up into altitude. So that's why I'll need a 10.6. I think an inch longer on the prop would be a really big help instead of a 9. Um, Bringing in the Storch here. As you can see, I got almost everything back up and running here. You can see that the this pipe, this tube here is not the actual one that was for the center wing spar. I'm most likely going to make this aircraft put it back as a fixed wing airplane. I think it would just be beneficial to do so. It had hinges on the wings, so you could fold the wings. I'm not sure if I'm just going to put it back the way it was or make it a fixed aircraft. Um, it did run on a 4S battery, 4S 3300. It gives it enough power to get it up in the air. These servos here, I actually have one in here already set up. These servos will be controlling the rudder and elevator, and the push rods are already inside. You can actually see the elevator move back and forth as I play with the push rod, left and right also. That's what's going on there. I picked up some servos for the Liberty Sport, a little bit heavier. Uh, these are really good servos. They're metal geared servos, which I think they're a little bit better. And for an aircraft like the Liberty Sport, I think they would do a whole lot better for that plane. Um, these I got on Amazon also. I just wish that we had like a hobby shop around this area. I'd probably be at it a lot and talking. Um, we used to have a hobby shop in our area. The closest hobby shop is about 2 hours away, and it's just I remember when there was hobby shops everywhere. At least each town, or you were with at least an hour away, or even 30 minutes away from a hobby shop. Growing up, um, we used to go to the hobby shop. I used to go to the hobby shop at least once a weekend to either look at models or buy a model, or I would build models a lot. Um, as I got older, I used to take my son to. There was a hobby shop in Miami known as Orange Blossom Hobbies, very famous hobby shop in Miami. Um, they closed down, um, and it wasn't because on time online retailers were taking over. Um, some people were buying from Amazon, not a lot, but if you have a hobby shop in your town, make sure you support it. Purchase from them because they're better than actual online retailers. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was telling me how places like Horizon Hobbies, they've gone away from customer service. They've gotten so big, and they're banging out planes, prefab aircraft, and they've gone away a little bit from their roots. Um, he was complaining that their customer service is not that great anymore. Um, I haven't had any problems with their customer service. I haven't dealt with their customer service yet. Maybe I'll change my mind when that happens. But it would be really nice if somebody would actually speak about the things that go on with the hobby shop, so especially the hobby shops. And it would be nice to see a hobby shop in our area come open again. Hobby shops are closing down. And again, I don't think it's about online resellers. I think it's about customer service. Hobby shops are needed in certain areas where the hobby is exploding. Yeah, RC cars are great, and I think you know, um, but I think really model aviation is something that really needs to, with the things like aerospace exploding and everything like that. Hobby shops are needed, and I think they're needed to go also into the next realm. I see a new wave of things coming up like 3D printing, which we'll talk about in another session. But 3D printing is getting big. But again, I think the hobby shop can still survive in this day and age. The mom and pop hobby shop, small town business hobby shop can still survive. And, I don't think everything goes online. I used to run a bicycle shop, and everybody would be like, oh, I'll just buy that stuff online. Well, you really need to support the small town business. And I used to get a lot of people that came into my store, and they would all tell me the same thing. Bicycle shops are needed, not only as a place for hanging out and talking to the manager or the owner, but to get your parts. And there's a sense of customer service that you get from that interaction of one-to-one. And I think that's where hobby shops are needed. So what else I was talking about? We're going to talk about, oh yeah, the Puss Moth. So just to give you guys a heads up on the Puss Moth. Also, the Puss Moth is coming along, as you can see. I drew out the cowling, and I've found the motor for the front. Motor will be going right here. Motor will come out about that much. And it's just going to have a knob for the prop. It's not really going to have a nose cone or spinner prop. The aircraft wasn't really built for speed. It was just built for fun, for practicality, to get people to and from. It's not going to have this is just a doubler. I'm going to double it up with, I'm going to cut a hole actually down here to feed the wires from the electric motor in. And then I'll also have, I'm going to open this area up here so I'm able to feed a battery in. And so the battery can, actually, I'll probably do it from the back. But this is right here is where center of gravity really is, right along the wing spar. So I need it to be right now. If I just hold it like this, you can see that it's very tail heavy, of course, because there's a lot of wood. So I'm going to need as much battery. I'm going to need as much weight in the front. So I may actually just put the battery right here. I'll just cut like I'm actually thinking that I'm going to have to cut like a little opening here just to be able to flop the battery inside here on a tray, which will be fine. I think that will work just perfectly fine. I'll still be able to run the wires. I'll make a little box here so the wires will scoop up, and then all the electronics will be here. I'm going to put rudder and elevator, one in the front, one in the back. Both rudder and elevator will be up here. So as much weight will be in the front of the aircraft as possible. And if it is too nose heavy, I can always add one or two little weights in the back to kind of balance it out. So that's what's going on with the Puss Moth as we speak. I'm going to cover it most likely a red with either a yellow creamish or maybe a red cream or a white. They were mostly two-tone with the silver, but I think a red with another color would be really nice and really will stand out. I haven't worked on the plane too much. I've just been putting the coloring on it. But maybe within the next couple of days, I'll start playing around with putting servos in also. And also the Storch is also being worked on. Also another airplane I started kind of like looking at, and after I'm kind of finished with these, I'll start working on that again, will be the Club Cub that I got from the club. Somebody had dropped it off, and if you guys want to go ahead and look inside the online on my playlist, you'll probably find a feed for the Club Cubs. I'll put out some videos about it as I start to work on it again. And but that's all really about it. If you're anybody that watches this is on the East Coast tonight, there is a rocket launch. SpaceX Dragon is taking off at 10:59. I think I said it. 10:53. Check local listings. You'll probably be able to watch it here on YouTube, or you can, if you're on the East Coast, along Florida's East Coast, you'll be able to see it. Even if you're on the Florida West Coast and you have a clear skies towards the east, you'll be able to see it also. Other than that, there was a helicopter show going on in Los Angeles, pretty big one. I saw on the news feeds on YouTube. They showed off a lot of new helicopters that are coming out with new rotor blade technology and everything like that. One thing I do really want to emphasize is it's try and support your hobby shops. We need them more so than Amazon and more so than online retailers. Online retailers are great for some things, but when it comes to customer service, if you have a hobby shop in your area, support that hobby shop. Go to the hobby shop, support, or try and find somebody who's interested in opening up a hobby shop. Tell them you want to help them out. Maybe get a job there. So, but today was just a little bit of a little shop talk. I'm sure there's some people watching us right now, but actually, let me show you guys. I'll show you how the Liberty Sport's coming out. I haven't worked on it too much. So my idea for the Liberty Sport and how the servos will go in, I am going to be putting the servos on the back here, probably like around here, and then the batteries will go in the front. I gotta really play with the wing. I gotta check both wings before I start playing with battery and CG. But since the center of gravity is pretty much on this thing, would be around here, because the motor would have been right up here. So I got to play with weight and balance once I get all the electronics in. I'm going to use the big heavy servos. I think I really want something with quality in it. I most likely will be getting for this model a safe receiver. I want something that's going to help it fly along a little bit better, and with wind mitigation. Of course, I'll have a friend fly it first for me before I fly it. I want it to succeed. I really want it. This is a plane that I know my brother had held on for a while. I guess he definitely had plans to build it, but I really wanted to build it first. And I had always watched it. I already looked at it in boxes and everything like that. And since we moved into this beautiful house that we're in with my shop here, I really want to be able to put it together. Color-wise, I haven't thought about a color. I did think of the gray and yellow that you see on the box, but I think something else would probably be nicer. Either an orange with a black stripe on the side. I really like that color. I don't know which aircraft I saw with that, but I think it was a Pitts or something like that, and it was an orange color with a black stripe. This part here was black, and then it had a black stripe going all the way down, about halfway down, and then the end numbers. And I don't know. I'll give it the good end number designation on the back, and put a name on the front. If you guys ever get a chance, watch the video that we put together. Actually, I repaired an EC 1500 EC 1500 by Horizon Hobbies, a cargo plane. My thing on cargo planes, I think they're stupid, but some people like them. To each is their own. I really don't think that's if you're gonna build like a cargo plane, build something like Rami RC built that huge C-17. I think that's cool. He just put some dummy landing gears on it. I think he's gonna build scale landing gears that act like the real one, that rotates and then goes back up into the body. Can't wait to see that. He does a lot of stuff with 3D printing, and he builds those planes. And I mean, it's just a beautiful aircraft. If you ever have a chance, go and check out his page, Rami RC, or type in RC C-17, and you'll be able to find it. But you know what? That's about it. That's all we're going to talk about today. And if you guys are working on anything, share them. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. And if you can, like and subscribe the video if you're watching this for the first time. I'll see you next Sunday, 7:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard, and we'll talk right here about Shop Talk. A little history today, not much history. No, we're not going to talk about history today. We're just going to have it was just going to be a short session, and we'll talk next week about some. We'll talk. You know what? Maybe we'll talk about something. We'll see. All right. Have a good weekend, y'all, and we'll see you on the next round. Model Man Frank out.